Do you know why this channel exists? Because 35 years in the natural stone industry has showed me where people go wrong long before they even realize it. And it's not because I'm smarter than anyone else, but it's because I've been exposed to more situations, more outcomes, and more behind the scenes decisions than most people ever get to see. So because of that experience, I try to help people understand how decisions actually play out over time. And not just with stone, but with timing, context, expectations, and the trade-offs nobody explains early enough. Because when people understand these things, the material basically chooses itself. So people talk about this industry all the time because they did a kitchen once. And I get it, that experience feels real. But honestly, knowing how to replace an outlet doesn't make you an electrician. It just means you know how to replace an outlet. I mean, you wouldn't ask a carpenter for plumbing advice, and you wouldn't ask a mason how to design a landscape. Every trade has depth you don't see unless you live inside of it for a long time. And honestly, I didn't start noticing these mistakes right away. It probably took me about 10 years in the industry before I really saw the patterns. Early on, man, I was just trying to survive. I was a young guy with a family. I was just trying to settle. I was trying to make a living. I really wasn't a student of what was happening around me yet. But somewhere along the way, I started realizing something. People weren't making the wrong decisions because they were careless. They were making the wrong decisions because they weren't guided correctly early enough. And once I stopped being attached to what people picked, something interesting happened. People stopped feeling like they were being sold to, and they started feeling like they were finally being guided and educated about the process. Homeowners would say things to me like, man, nobody ever explained that to me. Or jokingly say, man, I wish you were involved earlier in the process. And that meant a lot to me, more than people will ever really realize. But for the first time, I could see what I was doing actually mattered and that it made a real difference for people. Because if you don't do this for a living, how could you possibly know this stuff if nobody's ever explained it to you? And most of the regret I see doesn't come from the stone itself. It comes from timing. People are asked to make permanent decisions before they have enough context to make them. They're picking countertops before the space even exists. No walls, no cabinets, no lighting. And that's not the homeowner's fault. Let's be clear about that. It's just how the process pushes people along. So fear fills in the gaps. People start relying on secondhand advice. One bad experience becomes the rule. Your friend has a bad seam? Oh, all seams are bad. Someone has a dark stone in a dim room? Now dark stone is off the table forever. But none of that is universal. What actually changes everything is when the space exists, when people can physically compare things. Because saying white cabinets doesn't mean much early on. I mean, there's hundreds of whites. Until you can hold things next to one another, you're guessing. And guessing creates panic. I care much more about how you live with a decision than how it looks on day one. I always say to people, context before conclusions. When people have context, they stop panicking. They ask better questions. They stop rushing. Fear disappears because they finally understand what to expect. I don't tell people what to pick. Well, I kind of do, but I say it jokingly and with a smile. I tell them, I can't see it from my house. And what I mean by that is simple. What you choose doesn't affect my life, but it absolutely affects yours. But helping you think clearly helps you choose what you'll actually be happy with. Because 4 years from now, when you're sitting in your kitchen on a Sunday morning with a cup of coffee, you're not going to say, I love how the stone matches the knobs and the appliances and everything else. You're just going to say, I love my kitchen. That's it. The details fade. The feeling stays. And there's no way for me to give you 35 years of experience in 40 seconds. It's just impossible. So if you want to understand this stuff the right way, follow along. I'm Anthony, that stone guy. I hope to see you in the future.